Hi, this is the Humanities 2010 Humanities Project Lion for the podcast. Let's go ahead and just introduce everybody here. I'm Nadia.
I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Jen.
And I'm Michaela.
Okay, yeah, and we just want to get into our discussion about Lion, what we thought about the movie, key points, and just our favorite parts of it. So if you just want to go ahead and get started, guys. The film begins with the shot of yellow butterflies, and what do you guys think, like, that represented? How did it relate to love, and why the movie chose to, like, make that the opening sequence? I don't know if anybody wants to go ahead and just start.
I guess I'll start. So in this scene, it was just Saru standing in the middle of all the yellow butterflies, right? I think the yellow butterflies represent, I think, like, they represent, like, free love. This is going to sound really weird, but the butterflies were able to move around, and they had options, basically, and they knew where they were supposed to be. I don't think Saru, since he was still a kid, he really knew where he was supposed to be. And as you know in the movie, he does get lost, and he isn't able to get back home. So I think the butterflies are supposed to represent that love can be anywhere. It was just at that moment they were all right there.
That's really sweet. Yeah, I thought to it. I was so not analytical, but like when I was thinking about it, I was just like, oh yeah, like some people think yellow butterflies represent guidance. And maybe, like, butterflies were, like, a sense of, like, oh, he's going to need extra guidance, like, in the next upcoming week or days and throughout his whole life, like, searching to get back home.
And also, so, like, I'm not trying to move into the next question, but it mentioned self-love. So I think the first scene that it set the tone for the entire movie, as Nadia said, that yellow butterflies really represent guidance. I think this movie is setting the tone for Saru finding his true self. Like, he was lost, and then he's lost the identity of himself, and this entire movie is about him finding back home, and, like, home is everywhere, and home is love. So, yeah, I think it's about, like, finding your true self in the entire movie.
I like able to, like, connect, like, Kaylee's ideas and my ideas and forge, like, a really pretty, like, thought process with it, because that is really true. I would say, I don't know if you guys wanted to mention anything else about the butterflies.
I felt like it was the yellow that really got me, just because a lot of people think of love as, like, red or pink. But, like, when I think of family, I think of either, like, white or yellow. So it meaning yellow just kind of, like, represented his actual, like, family love. And I think there being, like, multiple butterflies, meaning, like, he has family everywhere and they're always with him almost. So I like that one.
No,
I
really
also
sweet.
really agree. I really agree with the way that the yellow hit, because yellow is the color of happiness, and he really ended up finding his, like, true happiness at the end of the movie.
Yeah, with everything that, like, life threw at him, I'm glad he was able to get, like, a relatively happy ending.
Yeah, like, it was really good foreshadowing for, like, the fact that he had a happy ending.
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started on that ending. I was trying so hard.
Oh my god.
Like, I'd already seen it, and I still... But, going on and moving on to the second point, what point of the film do you guys think, like, best depicted Saru showing his self-love? Like, what scene, like, really just brought that for you?
I personally thought this one, hold on, let me actually grab my notes, because I have a lot of notes on this one. Yeah, this one, I love this one. Mostly I thought about the fact that he overcame, like, his entire past and created a new life for himself, even though he ended up turning away from that life and choosing to, like, go back and figure out his history. He still overcame it. He went to college, even though his adoptive sibling got into drugs and stuff like that. He really showed self-love by like giving himself a future that was more than most people get the chance to have.
Oh, yeah, completely. And it's just crazy the stuff he had to endure at such a young age.
To get to that point. Exactly.
Couldn't even imagine.
And was still able to get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
Very inspirational.
Getting adopted when you had parents, like traveling across the country by yourself, all of that, like when he was like 6 years old.
Siblings that you know and love that you are just expected to kind of forget.
Yeah, like, and he didn't, and I thought that was really powerful. His love with his older brother, like, he knew him for 6 years of his life, but he continued on to, like, be for him, even when he was old. I thought it was really interesting. His brother's, like, ghost, in a sense, was always around him.
Yeah.
Seeing him, like, kind of like a support figure for him, even through his darkest times.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, because I thought, like, a big scene of self-love for me was when he was going down that hole of searching, and he just closed off from everyone, isolated himself, and I just thought that was so toxic. And it was kind of relatable, because first semester of college for me was kind of bad, because I, like, forced myself to focus on schoolwork and everything, and didn't really pay attention to other things, so I think that's why I related to it so much. But I was just, like, it was really, like, motivational for me to see him get himself out of that, and be okay to ask for help. Like, I can't do this alone. I need my support system, and like go speak to his adopted parents about everything.
I think for me, the best scene that kind of showed him with self-love was mostly his scenes was when he was under the bridge when he was a kid, and he was he was talking about his mom, saying how his mom would say good boy or something like that, and he was kind of boosting himself in that moment. I think that was really important. That to me showed self-love even as a kid, because at the moment he's going through like all of this craziness, and in that moment he just stopped, and then he was just remembering what his mom said about him, and then feeling better about himself a little bit, and trying to get himself back up to being like at least a not positive. I mean, the whole situation was still bad, but like, try to get himself that energy to like keep going. I think that was like one of the best moments for me with self-love, just because it was such a pivotal moment for him that it was like needed.
No, that's a really good scene to mention, because like he took care of himself. He was like his own parent. He was like supporting him, keeping him like motivated to keep going, when he easily could have just given up like so many times. I don't know. It was like a lot to see a young kid do all of this stuff, and I like think about myself and like, did I do that? I don't know.
One scene that really particularly stood out for me is, do you guys remember that one scene when he was at like the orphanage, and then the lady came talk to him, to Saru, that, hey, like, these are the two people that are going to adopt you, and like when it zoomed into his face, I can just see like confusion and lost in his eyes, and it's like he knows who he is, but why are these people trying to tell him that like his mom and his brother are not looking for him? And I think in that moment he really wanted to cling on to the Saru that it was there, instead of like moving across the country. But I guess he's too young at that point in order to understand what this whole like moving is gonna mean. But yeah.
No, definitely, because like in his head he was just like, just take me back home. Like, he didn't realize how bad the situation was looking. Like, he didn't know his mom's name. He didn't know where he lived. Like, the likelihood of him getting back home then was super slim. I don't know, it is a tough thing. Like, imagine like you have a family waiting for you, they're still there, and then someone's like forcing you to move on. And I mean, it did turn out like a good situation, but still, I'm sure he didn't think that like as soon as he heard he was getting adopted.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Me as well, definitely. Definitely that wouldn't have been the first thought.
No, I don't think anyone's excited to get sent off to a different country, have a new family, especially when you have another family. But
absolutely not.
But I'm just so impressed with like when we like segue to like him